2025, another year which pushed the ticking hands of the doomsday clock closer to midnight, and I'm sure certain people won't be happy until we're all living in a scorched wasteland, desperately trying to escape an alpha zombie with a massive dong. But aside from real world apocalypse enticing charlatans, we've thankfully had a shed load of entertainment escapism to distract us all from the doom. TV had an especially strong year with an actually good Star Wars, chair-based lunacy from Tim Robinson, some naughty lying British celebs, and Vince Gilligan showing us that the apocalypse might not be that bad if you choose to live in Vegas. Video games had another bumper year, punching us in the guts with emotion, out superheroing Hollywood, and finally catching on that we don't all want to play Call of Duty in our parents' basement. And movies had, in my opinion, which is apparently why you're here, a very strong year. I saw 67 new releases over the year and a couple of weeks into January because it's my list and my rules. So with only a little further ado, this is my top 20 movies of 2025, starting with a few quick honourable mentions. And a final note that these selections are all based on UK release dates, so some may be 2024 releases where you are. Lucky you. Good news, a Korean political comedy, which is apparently a true story, which leaps out the gate with an amazing first half, but fizzles a little towards the end. The Assessment, a thought-provoking, relatable sci-fi drama featuring 3 excellent performances from Himesh Patel, Elizabeth Olsen and Alicia Vikander. The Life of Chuck, a nice film, but maybe not much more. The Monkey, simple and gory fun, but maybe not much more. Companion would have been so much better if the poster and trailer didn't give away the major plot point, but still fun enough. Killer of Killers, Dan Trachtenberg continues to pump some green juice into the Predator franchise, and sadly Badlands is not on this list because I haven't seen it yet. And We Live in Time, not as vomit inducing as feared. Put that on the poster. To the top 20, starting with, can you guess? It's number 20.
Wait, sit here. Sit here.
Auntie, what's going on?
Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet and do not move from this spot.
I knew 28 years later had a mad ending, and I had 2 possible guesses of what that ending might be. Turned out one of my guesses was actually a major plot point, but of course Jimmy Savile Power Rangers was not one of my guesses. I haven't seen Bone Temple yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that angle plays out, because that ending really was something. The rest of the film varies from great to odd. Boyle and Garland take continual swings at something new, which you do have to give them credit for, but it does create a film that is full on, wildly inconsistent tonally, and a bit of an oral owl mess at times. The pacing is awkward, some slow moments, more rushed moments, which does feel like some stuff is being held back for part 2. But I love that this is not a rehash, love that it tried something different, even if not all of it pays off, and that ending is jarring, manipulative and honestly pretty stupid, but it certainly wasn't cliche or boring.
Let's be musketeers. All for one!
One for all.
Nah, and again, I need to hear it louder. All for one!
One for all!
What's the long walk about, I hear you ask? Well, it's about this walk, right? And I'm telling you, it's not a short one. My favourite novel of all time finally gets a big screen update after many failed attempts. As I've always reluctantly felt, it's not really a story which would translate too well into the movie format, and though this effort is generally a good one, probably as good as it could possibly be, there's something definitely left behind from the book. There are also some surprising omissions, additions and updates which differ from the book. Some work well, some don't. The themes which tie into the new ending feel a little tacked on and are brought up far too late in the short runtime. They really could and should have let all that stew from the very start for a bit of extra juicy drama. Changing the ending to such a degree too also feels a little bit sacrilegious, and that left a bitter taste, but it did at least work, and the original ending isn't that great, like with a lot of King's work. The cast are almost all great, especially David Johnson, who really is the beating heart of the film. Mark Hamill is playing a role from a different film, and I don't like how cartoonish this character came over. But overall, I was happy with how it turned out, and I never expected it to be as great a film as it is a book.
Oliver lost his family just like you guys. Needed someone that could give him special care.
Bring Her Back was not quite as good as Taught to Me, but not far off. I really like that the Philippines didn't try and go bigger with their second effort. Bring Her Back works as well as it does, down to a simple structure and story. On the other hand, the story is very familiar and pretty predictable, which you couldn't say about their debut. This is full on grim too. There's no lightness or MCU quip relief.
I understood that reference.
Just full on darkness and misery, which does work for the most part, but glad it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's all very well wrapped up too, with a bleak but perfectly fitting ending. And I'm looking forward to Talk to Me Too, or whatever the new Brothers Grimm have lined up next.
You're aware the patient has mental health issues, dementia, paranoia, delusions.
I wasn't actually told that.
Freywacker continues the horror opening of my top 20 and is no doubt the first film on this list you haven't seen on anyone else's 2025 rundown. That's how cool I am. This is a strong Irish folklore horror with bags and bags of atmosphere and a growing sense of dread. The two leads are excellent, both of them underplaying it where other actors would have gone too big, making things jarring and cheesy. The score and how it's used amplifies the dread and atmosphere, and it all plays out extremely effectively, if not always wholly originally. Well worth a watch and deserve to be less under the radar.
Look, Joe, 6 feet.
I liked Eddington way more than I expected. It took me a while to grab me, as it's pretty much Twitter the movie for the first half and it's sledgehammer subtle, which is kind of what I was expecting throughout. The second half is an unexpected shift in gears and it really worked for me. Fantastic stuff from Phoenix, who works perfectly for Ari Aster's brand of nervy chaos. And considering his recent ubiquitous run, I'm shocked that Pedro Pascal took this role, as he's surprisingly underused. Not that he's bad, I just expected his beef with Phoenix to be the sole focus of the film. Some great sweeping shots and some unexpected but excellent gore round off the package, one which pleasantly surprised me. And that "you're being manipulated" sticker got a big literal lol from me. Flow is lovely, sweet and minimalistic, but not without its moments of tension, especially for cat lovers. The animation style is pretty basic, but the direction and scope really bring it all to life. And it's pretty amazing to learn that the whole film was created on Blender, a free 3D animation tool. I loved how you can almost hear what the animals were saying in some moments. Me and my cat Evie enjoyed it very much, and Evie asked that if you're enjoying this video so far, perhaps you can hit that like button.
This is a guy who, the minute you see his face, you're gonna smile.
He was amazingly funny.
Thank you.
If John Candy, I Like Me, doesn't fill your heart with equal measures of joy and sadness, you may not actually be a human being. This documentary about the legendary and well-loved comic is yet another reminder that no matter how successful, comfortable and confident people seem, we all have doubts and demons in our silly noggins trying to spoil everything. Could have done with 20 minutes shaved off, but this is a lovely film about a lovely man.
Call it.
Heads. Heads.
The Phoenician Scheme is another Wes Anderson film, and I could probably stop there because we all know where we are with Anderson these days, don't we? I'm in the camp which generally prefers the early stuff, but still can't resist the most recent efforts. Whatever you think of the last WA outings, you can't deny that these are stunning looking films. The quirks, the pace, the dialogue delivery, the camera movement, the symmetry, the colours, the deadpan sight gags, it all still does it for me. And even if this plot is one of the most throwaway, there's so much here to enjoy.
No calls are recorded and everything you say is confidential.
There's a van parked out front. I think they're watching me.
Relay is one of the hidden gems of 2025. Super tight, well paced, nicely shot, and a great lead performance from Riz Ahmed, who at one point looked like he might be challenging Arnie's T2 record for dollars per word, uttering his very first word at the 30-minute mark. It feels so refreshing to see such a watertight plot with no questionable character actions, and everything felt genuine and true. It very nearly takes things too far towards the end, and it would have been even more tense had it been whittled down to 90 minutes. But overall this was very enjoyable and comes well recommended.
There's some Scooby-Doo shit going on here.
Scooby-Doo-Doo.
Wake Up Dead Man is the best Blanc film so far for me. I've liked this series but also found them to be pretty overrated. The first two didn't quite give me what I want from these kind of films, a twisty-turny mystery with the detective using his smarts to satisfyingly unravel the plot. Blanc did virtually nothing in the first film and the mystery wasn't great in the second. Wake Up Dead Man gave me everything, a superbly written, twisty murder mystery with Blanc using his smarts to solve it, though I probably enjoyed the first Josh O'Connell heavy half more than the second. There's some great cinematography too, with some sweeping shots and dynamic zooms, including a brilliant dolly zoom. Some obvious, slightly heavy-handed but effective lighting too, depicting good and evil. Good stuff.
The Pope is dead.
The throne is vacant.
I do enjoy a film that makes drama over a seemingly sedate or dull situation, and Conclave does this masterfully. Brilliantly shot and edited, and in amongst a huge list of great performances, this is one of Ray Fiennes' best. Great stuff from Stanley Tucci too, but that's a given. I would have liked just a touch more pace and edge, but this is an interesting and well made, slowly simmering drama.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
After 8 films of nail-biting action and continual success, I think it's safe to say that these missions have all been entirely possible after all. And for the apparent final reckoning, it seems I'm in the minority again, but this time, for a nice change, I seem to have liked to film more than most people. The general criticisms of too much exposition, too many callbacks, and a super weak villain are all perfectly valid, but I don't see any of these as being the critical problems most reviewers raised. It is a touch heavy-handed on the exposition front, but these films always are, and these are the kind of films where exposition makes sense. I didn't feel like the characters were filling me in, but saying what needed to be said. The stakes and action are, as ever, massive. It's following similar beats to previous films, and I'm fine with these films ending here to stop further repetition, but man, repetition that is this thrilling is not overly bad in my book.
Cousin. There's him. He's alive.
The Brutalist is a proper motion picture. Looks amazing, sounds amazing, that main score theme is chef's kiss, and completely absorbing in spite of the deliberate pacing. The decision to shoehorn in some important information into a rushed epilogue felt completely at odds with the rest of the film and jarringly clunky, but that's my only gripe. And I can't imagine anyone else in that lead role. Brody is sensational, but so is the whole cast, and it's just comforting to watch a big, old-school American epic.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
I don't think that Weapons or Barbarian are quite it, but I get the feeling that Zach Cregger has an all-time horror classic in him somewhere. Both of his films so far are interesting, original, well written and well made. I would go a step further with Weapons. This is exceptionally well shot and put together. Every shot has tons of thought and care. I really like the format, though I do wish it moved at a very slightly better pace. The ideas, tone and gore are once again completely original, and I love that final 10 minutes. Can't wait to see what Cregger does with Resident Evil.
No, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
We've unfortunately seen the story of Nickel Boys before. The promising young black man stifled and beaten down in a time and place where people like this had little chance to simply live their lives. And of course, it's based on real events. I loved how this was done like a serious peep show. Interesting to see what the actors had to do themselves in terms of being camera operators, and it just goes to show that a lack of technical prowess doesn't get in the way of incredible cinematography. There are some genuine pacing issues, and the constant inserts, many of which seemed a little random, got a little tiresome by the end. But this is a unique and compelling story with some excellent performances, especially considering their dual roles.
What are you thinking about?
I was thinking that we ought to get married.
Train Dreams is a simple film about a simple man in simple times. Absolutely stunning cinematography, such cozy vibes, and those vibes are matched by the glacial pace, lack of drama, a good thing in this instance, and quiet performance from Joel Edgerton. Just like the film itself, I don't have much else to say. And that's a comment, by the way, about dialogue, not the film's content, because the film was good, obviously.
This is Bob Ferguson. I was a part of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Great to have PTA back on track with one battle after another, after Licorice Pizza, which I hated.
I'm using the word hate here.
I'm not sure this is quite the modern masterpiece many have hailed it as, but considering the pure quality of filmmaking in general, I get it. The pacing of this thing is insane, especially the first half. I was pretty transfixed by how it zipped along, pushed by the frenetic score and amazing camera work. Sean Penn is a huge highlight too. This performance is so close to being too much, but always just tiptoes on the right side of the line. He made me grin throughout. Apart from the amazing but puke-inducing chase scene at the end, the final third Could easily have been trimmed to make the whole film as tight as the opening half. It certainly didn't drag, but a snip here and there would have got this to a more chiselled state. But I'm so glad to have PTA back on form.
Davers and I are cousins. We used to be joined at the hip. Our grandma was from here, so Dave arranged for us to join this geriatric Polish tour with you fine people.
A real pain hit me dead on. These Nothing Much Happens films are hit and miss for me, but here we have two brilliantly played, expertly written characters which had me completely absorbed. Kieran Culkin fully deserved the Oscar, but I have to give Jesse Eisenberg massive credit for writing such a fascinating and complex character. He's somehow able to be funny and rude, brash, charismatic, misguided and deeply sympathetic. And the ending just left me sad for the character, and sad I won't get to see him again. Such was the bond I'd formed with him over just 90 minutes. And I barely liked him for the first 20. Lovely stuff.
Greetings. Welcome to the headquarters of Human Resistance.
Where's my hair?
Your hair has been destroyed to prevent you from contacting your ship.
Yorgos Lanthimos never misses, and he has another hit with Begonia. I love this story, such a fantastic premise, which makes me want to check out the film it's based on, Save the Green Planet. Emma Stone has always been one of my favourite actors, but her recent run has been phenomenal. Pretty much ditto for Jesse Plemons. Newcomer Aidan Delbis also smashes it out of the park, and his performance in a particular scene drew a fuck from me. Goes without saying for a Lanthimos film, but it looks ace. And the score, which honestly sounds like a natural fit for a biblical epic from the 50s, is another true highlight. Banger.
I have a purpose.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. Do you make money at this little table tennis thing?
Not yet.
Do you have a job?
No.
Marty Supreme is absolute cinema. This moves along like the last two Safdie brothers films, but this is stronger than both in virtually all departments. It's not as incessantly tense as Good Time or Uncut Gems, but stress and tension are almost wholly what those films are aiming for, where this is a sprawling biopic, which includes many moments of stress and tension, and that makes for a more interesting and complex final result. It looks fantastic, the cinematography, production values and editing create an amazingly absorbing world, but it's all pulled along by the biggest standout of the film, Little Timmy C's best role to date. The Oscar's in the bag. There is a but, and I'm not talking about that paddling scene. It doesn't need to be this long. I might have to stop mentioning this as a negative, because to me it seems like a given in modern cinema. Every film made these days is 20 minutes too long. Film length is not the problem. Needless bloat is. Cut 20 from Marty and you have so much more punch or tension, a lessened sense of all these things are happening to this person. Maybe I'll stop banging this drum one day, but probably not. Other than that, Marty Supreme really was. Anyway, that's it. Like and subscribe and all that, and thanks for watching.
Game over, man.